Wow, it's a truly exciting time for Saab and its premier aircraft, the Gripen. Sure, Sweden took delivery of its very first Gripen E near the end of October, but that pales in comparison to the potential deal with Ukraine. There's also even more recent news that Saab is considering Canada as a location where it could assemble these fighter jets in order to increase production. And so in today's video, we take a look at all of this exciting news, as well as why pilots love the jet. So first on our list of Gripen-related news is the fact that Ukraine has announced its interest in acquiring the jet. The country, currently fighting off Russia for its existence, signed a letter of intent or LOI with the Swedish government on October 22nd. Taking to social media after meeting Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said, "We greatly value our relations with Sweden and all forms of support for our people. Today, one of the key topics of our negotiations was strengthening Ukraine's defense capabilities. We consider the JAS-39 Gripen aircraft to be one of the most effective elements of this effort and count on the first deliveries of Gripens already in 2026. Kristersson stated that the deal would, quote, strengthen both Ukraine, Sweden and Europe, while Sweden's defense minister, Paul Jonsson, stated, "We are one step closer to seeing Gripen protect Ukraine's airspace," adding, "Ukraine has asked for 100 to 150 Gripen E, and we are looking into how this can be financed." If the deal manages to go through, then it could represent one of the largest fighter export orders in Swedish history. When it comes to the relatively new E variant and its two-seater F counterpart, Saab to date has secured orders to produce 60 for Sweden and 36 for Brazil. So that's one potentially big piece of news, but since it's only a letter of intent, there's still some progress that needs to be made to finalize a sale. One big question is where the money is going to come from. Another question is, why is this only happening now? After all, such a move would have helped Ukraine much more several years ago. But better late than never, right? There are also some potential roadblocks to discuss, and we'll get to that later in this video. It's notable that Zelensky's visit to Sweden included a tour of Saab's Gripen production site, because when it comes to the topic of production, Saab would be extra busy churning out fighter jets if the Ukraine deal goes through. Of course, Ukraine doesn't really have time to wait for new jets, especially if it's going to be at the back of the line behind Sweden's 50-plus Gripens needing to be delivered. And so another potentially big piece of news is the fact that Saab is evaluating Gripen fighter jet production/assembly in Canada. According to CBC, Saab's CEO Mikael Johansson said in recent interviews with financial news publications that Ukraine buying 100-plus jets would double the defense company's production requirements. The Financial Times and Reuters reported that the company is searching for ways to expand production capacity, possibly in Canada or elsewhere in Europe. Simon Carroll, president of Saab Canada, said in a media statement to the Canadian press that the firm, quote, views Canada and its formidable aerospace industry as an important market to support a significant increase in global demand. The company representative added, "We're continuing to grow and develop our relationships with Canadian companies to support our programs and products for Canada and for the export market." While it's a bit outside of our geographical focus, it's worth noting that Saab's Gripen has been flagged as a potential alternative for Canada's CF-18 fighter jet replacements, as the country's F-35 order remains in limbo at the time of making this video. Worsening trade relations between Ottawa and Washington have made F-35 alternatives more lucrative, although some in the Canadian military believe that sticking to the American jet is the best way forward, as the government is already partially committed to a deal. At least for us, we see one huge factor that could throw a wrench into any plans relating to Ukraine, Canada, or anyone else wanting the Gripen: the United States and its president, Donald Trump. Why? Well, people who already know the Gripen E will know that it's powered by the General Electric F414G turbofan engine, an American engine. As a result, defense analysts are saying that the Americans could block any potential sales, whether it's to Ukraine, Canada, or another country. It wouldn't be far-fetched to think that the US president would block a sale to Canada to ensure the F-35 deal goes through. It's a little more of a stretch to believe that he would block a sale to Ukraine. But then again, the US isn't willing to sell long-range Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine that would have lit up oil refineries deep inside Russian territory. With current US-Canada relations, the US may want to prevent Canada from benefiting from production and assembly of the jet. Yes, we're just really in uncertain times now with the current US administration. But putting all of this aside, many people are continuing to sing the Gripen's praises. It's not a full fifth-generation fighter jet like the F-35, but its upgrades are said to make it more of a 4.5-generation aircraft. We go over some of its new technology and specifications in this video, so do check it out if you're interested. Saab designed the multi-role aircraft for easy maintenance and to have low operating costs. Indeed, the company highlights that the jet's engine can be fully replaced in less than an hour. The aircraft also features hot refueling capability and is designed to take off from roads/highways. This is made possible with a reinforced landing gear that keeps the plane high enough above the asphalt to prevent debris from getting sucked down the jet intake. The Gripen currently seems to be the quote-unquote talk of the town and is featured heavily in mainstream media right now. An October 30th article by Business Insider is titled, "Ukrainian fighter pilot says the Gripen is the only fighter in the world for which he'd sell his soul." It's not really the opinion of the media outlet and is more of a reposting of comments made by a Ukrainian fighter jet pilot on social media. Vadim Voroshilov, a well-known Ukrainian MiG-29 pilot, wrote on Instagram that the Gripen was the ideal option for Ukraine and also reliable for the future. Adding to what we stated earlier, Voroshilov notes that the Gripen can operate from damaged airfields. With the air intakes on the sides of the fuselage, it's less likely that small munitions fragments would get sucked in. The intake arrangement, he added, helps to reduce radar detection. Voroshilov says that the jet's ability to carry and fire both American and European weapons is also a huge plus. And based on viewer reaction to our recent Gripen E news video, many of you watching are fans of the aircraft as well, for the reasons listed and more. And so we truly will just have to wait and see how negotiations pan out for a major Ukrainian purchase, and whether or not Canada will be home to a Gripen assembly facility to help fulfill an order. And then of course we'll also have to wait and see how the United States reacts to all of this. What do you think will be happening to this deal? Do you think it'll happen, or do you think the Gripen's engine will be the factor that sinks the deal? Let us know by leaving a comment.